Warm good evening to everyone and welcome to the Medicine Forum. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Medicine, a platform that has rapidly grown to become a trusted educational partner for medical students across India. Our mission is simple to provide accessible, high quality educational resources that empower students to excel in their academic and professional journeys. With a vibrant community of over 23,000 YouTube subscribers, Medicine has made a significant impact in areas like clinical case presentation, MCQ discussion, career guidance, skill development, and etc. We are constantly evolving to meet the needs of our students, whether they are preparing for a competitive exam or seeking to build a strong foundation in medical practice. One of our most innovative initiatives is the mentorship group, specifically designed for the second year MBBS students who are gearing up for their exams. So through this program, we offer personalized revision plans, daily quizzes, and structured mentorships to ensure that the students stay on track and feel confident about their preparation. This is just one of the many ways medicine continues to support and guide the medical professionals of tomorrow. As we move into the next phase of our journey with exciting sessions lined up on our medicine career, we have Medicine Career Compass 2024, including today's session on charting the path with surgery as a career. And we aim to inspire, inform, and empower. Thank you all for being a part of the medicine family. Let's continue and grow and learn together. It is indeed a very special session to us. And I'll be handing over the session to our Dr. Raghunandan Ramanathan sir to introduce our speaker of the day.
A very good evening to all my dear friends, juniors, and others, those who are joining with us today. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce a true stalwart in the field of surgery, an individual whose contribution to the healthcare and medical education are nothing short of extraordinary. I am talking about none other than our today's speaker, respected Dr. J.S. Rajkumar sir, a name that is synonymous with excellence, innovation, and service in medicine, not just within India, but in the global scale. Sir has earned international acclaim for his pioneering work, especially in the field of laparoscopic surgery. Over the years, he has performed 26,000 plus surgeries and is revered for his expertise in minimally invasive surgical technique. His passion for improving the patient's outcome and pushing the boundaries of surgical care has made him a trailblazer. Laparoscopy, once a niche area, has become a mainstream surgical option thanks in large part to experts like Dr. Rajkumar sir, who not only mastered the craft but also revolutionized through his innovative approach. Sir was the first Indian surgeon who performed air surgery live with the use of Google Glass. His academic journey is equally remarkable. Sir completed his MBBS at prestigious Madras Medical College, and here where his brilliance first became apparent. He was awarded with 32 gold medals, including the prestigious Johnstone Medal during his medical education, a feat only few can acclaim. He went on to pursue higher education training and earned his FRCS not just one, but from 4 different royal colleges: England, Edinburgh, Glasgow, and Ireland. His clinical competence and theoretical mastery have placed him among the top surgeons globally. One of the most admired quality about Dr. Rajkumar sir is that despite his immense success, he has always made sure that he gives back to the community. As a chairman and chief surgeon of Lifeline Hospital, a network of multi-speciality hospital, he has been instrumental in making high-quality medical care accessible to the people. Lifeline Hospital is a name trusted by many for its advanced medical treatments. Under his leadership, it has continued to uphold its reputation as a center of excellence. In recognition of his remarkable achievements, he has been a recipient to numerous awards and accolades. However, what truly stands about him is his humility and his continuous drive to keep learning and improving. That is, this example, one fine example is giving us the opportunity to host him. It's a very proud moment for medicine to have Sir in our forum. In summary, he is more than just a surgeon. He is a visionary, mentor, researcher, and a healer. His contribution have touched thousands of lives, not just through his patient he has treated, but also through the students he has taught and the doctor he has trained. His influence is past. We are incredibly fortunate to have Sir here with us, and I'm certain that his words will inspire all of us just as his career and a life has inspired so many. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dr. J.S. Rajkumar sir today with us. Thank you, sir, for joining with us. And I hope that with your initial remarks, we can proceed with our discussion on the career guidance on surgery.
Thank you very much, Dr. Raghunandan and Dr. Parthiban, for a very generous introduction from both of you.
Thank you, sir, for joining with us.
I want to start by saying I'm very impressed that at an early age, you boys are thinking of this Medusane and passing on and dissipating the knowledge pool to your other friends. I'm also very proud and happy to know that you've got 23,000 subscribers on the YouTube. That is no mean feat. So you guys are doing some trailblazing there. I want to start by offering my little services, either now and then to do MCQs or to do discussions, clinical case discussions, whatever. Let's sit and work on it and see how we can pass on the years of experience to our boys so that they can, one, take their exams better, and two, become better doctors. You are doing a great thing, and I'm very happy to be part of Medusane. I also want to put it out there that about 15, 20 years ago, one of my house surgeons and students who was my assistant, he's the one who actually started the speed classes. So I used to go for and talk to the boys in every one of the speed classes before they became very large. I hope and pray that Medusane also grows the way speed grew over 10 or 15 years. So with that, those words of introduction, and to tell you guys that it's always a pleasure to connect up with the younger guys, because I see us, I see me in yourselves, but maybe 15, 20 years ago. And I want that every generation spurs on the next generation. This is called paying it forward. You're doing for your youngsters as we did for our youngsters. And I think eventually those youngsters who are going to be benefited from today's talk or from the classes, they should start doing for the next generation. We must have what we call a cycle of positivity, every generation helping the next generation. Later today, I will tell you about some very unpleasant things that used to happen when we were in the training period, just for you all to know how difficult surgical training was, say 20 or 30 years ago, compared to what it is now. So I just briefly went through the list of questions, and they were so brilliant. I thought, right, let me not even look at them. I will answer from my heart without any preparation or without a script. So over to you, Dr. Raghunandan. You can fire away.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your generous feedback about our sessions. And let's start with the career in surgery. Wonderful discussions which we are going to have. Questions that is asked on behalf of students and aspirants, those who are trying to join as a PG residency in surgery. Sir, what inspired you to pursue a career in surgery, and what has kept you motivated throughout your journey in this last 25, 30 years?
So, very, very pertinent question. So, people who enter medicine, there are two types: post-graduation, medicine or surgery. My father was a professor of medicine, and I used to see people getting treatment for weeks or months before they became all right. And on the other hand, I saw surgery where somebody came with a big bump and you operated, next day, no bump. Or someone came with a big thyroid, you operated, no thyroid. So, if you are the sort like me who wants quicker results, more tangible results, you would take up surgery. I must say that I actually got many, many more gold medals in medicine because cardiology and neurology, they're all so good subjects to learn, to debate. It's good work for the neurons. But you find, for example, I'm sorry to say this, but we used to have patients 2 hour, 3 hour case discussions on neurology. Knock here, knock there. Is it this tract, that tract? And finally, treatment those days would be multivitamin tablet. Whatever the diagnosis, the treatment would be multivitamin tablet. I used to think, why are we doing 2 hours of discussion, knocking this reflex, that reflex? Whereas surgery, even in the 80s, early 80s, definitely you could see the difference. Somebody coming nearly dying with a strangulated hernia, with a peptic ulcer, perforation, with an obstruction, with a massive bleed. We used to open, blood everywhere, cut, chop, and then you were left with a live patient. So this is the reason why I joined surgery, because I'm of the sort that needs to see a tangible result to whatever I'm doing. So youngsters out there, you choose. If you want, I'm not saying one is good, one is bad. If you want very quick results, come to surgery. If you're okay to wait to see results after a few months, then you can choose one of the medical ones.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Now, as you were telling that you had an idea to choose surgery because of your thinking to get a quick result and your own skills and qualities. So now, what do you think a student must have, or key qualities or skills one must develop to excel in surgery during and after residency?
Another good question. So, about 100 years ago, a great surgeon said that to be a surgeon, you need a few things. You need to have the heart of a lion. You should go inside and put your knife, thinking there's a big crowd there, they might jack me, but I'm going to do it for the patient. Heart of a lion, but gentle hands. The hands of a lady for stitching. The eyes of a hawk, like a hawk from above, that swoops down upon smaller birds. Eyes of a hawk, the hands of a lady, the heart of a lion. They say you need these for surgery, but with modern surgery, longer surgery, you also need the urinary bladder of a camel, because you have to be standing sometimes for 8 hours or 10 hours. So a lot of patience is required as well, apart from the heart of a lion. But yes, if you're willing to be hit again and again, if you are like the ancient Spartans and the Greeks, the Spartans, the motto of Sparta used to be fall 7 times, rise 8 times. That's all. I used to have a t-shirt that said fall 7, rise 8. It doesn't matter if you fall 7 times. You must get up on the 8th time and continue fighting. And that was the motto of ancient Sparta. If you're built of that kind of stuff, then I would say, please take up surgery, because physically, mentally, emotionally, surgery can be a very exhausting and almost crippling vocation. The maximum depression is in surgeons, suicides, surgeons, burnout, surgeons. So if you are tough and you're willing to take it, you're welcome to join one of the surgical specialties. It's very fascinating from outside. You see somebody wearing this and rushing into theater and stitching and cutting and coming out and everybody clapping when you finished operating. That is only one part. There's so much more before, and there's lots more after. And I've come here to tell you all that today.
Thank you, sir. So, as you had probably done your post graduation 3 to 4 decades before, can you walk us through what a life is like during a surgical residency, and which are the biggest challenges you think, and how the students should navigate through that period?
This is a very important question. I wish we could have more of a kind of interaction with youngsters to tell them and to prepare themselves, prepare them for a surgical residency. The surgical residency is probably the most difficult part of a surgeon's life. I don't want to scare any of you, but remember, it's like you have to climb over a mountain. Once you climb over a mountain and come down, then the rest of your life is comfortable. But that mountain is a difficult mountain. So I'll tell you, for example, I did about 3 years of surgical residency here and then 4 years in the UK. So 7 years, I was on calls all the time. But if, for example, if you take in Chennai, we used to have one night where we would stay up all night for emergencies, but you'd have to come back and continue working. So if the Monday night is a duty, you'll finish only on Tuesday evening. And now when I look at the youngsters, I feel so bad for these kids. Okay, we went through that, but that's no reason why everybody else should also go through it. I've also spoken to the health ministry in Delhi and saying you get more PGs so that the boys can finish and go back. Instead of saying, there's only so many of you, you have to continue to work. But let me tell you all something. When we went to England, we used to do 1 in 2 or 1 in 3 calls. And that means Monday morning you come in, work fully Monday, continue working at night, continue working on Tuesday till Tuesday night. You go back Tuesday night, you just be crushed out. You come back on Wednesday morning, and Wednesday you work morning to night. Thursday morning you start, again you go into Thursday night all the way to Friday and up to Friday night. So every second day or every third day, we used to be doing all the nights. And We also used to do 3-day weekends. That means from Friday night, if you're on duty, you'll go Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, till Monday, and continue till Monday. So we used to actually do 96 hours in a row from Friday morning all the way until Monday night. And those days in England, it was very, very disorganized. Between 89 and 93, 94, when I was there, you have to look after the patient. You can't say, I'm not on call, I'm on call, nothing. The patient needed repeat surgery, you have to do. Once more, you just have to go on through the night. So it was horrendous. And I remember, I'm going to tell many youngsters this. Many times in England, many times, okay, multiple theaters in a hospital. I used to start on Monday morning, finish on Wednesday evening or something. And I used to wonder, hey, where did I leave my shirt and a jacket, blazer on Monday morning? Because you would have gone into theater, you just wear scrubs and a white overcoat. You have a shower, get into another pair of scrubs and white overcoat, and you run. So I remember I never even used to know which is it Tuesday, Wednesday evening, is it Wednesday night, and they used to bring food for us into theater. Just come out from theater, lounge, operate and eat and go back. So it was like 7-8 years of my life was only theater. Then only I kind of came out. So for many of you who think that 3 years of MS is very difficult, in our generation we did 3 years here and then 4 or 5 years abroad. So we did 7 or 8 years of that, but that's what is able to make us go round the clock even at this advanced age. So yes, surgical residency will play with your circadian rhythm. It will play with your day and night. It will play with your lifestyle. It will play with your married life. In the US, it is during the surgical residencies that many people get divorced. I know these are bitter facts, but you boys need to know that. But many of us are trying to make it easier for you guys by going and telling them in Delhi, let the boys not work more than 48 hours. I promise you, on an average, in those 7 years, 8 years, I must have worked around 70 to 80 hours. And I want to thank publicly my spouse for having put up with all that nonsense. We were barely around. So, but those days it used to be macho. I was operating for 3 days, 4 days. But now there's no, I didn't even see the children grow up. So you children, you youngsters, you should see your kids grow up. You should spend time with your spouses. Try to hold it to 48 hours. We're trying to work at the center to make sure that none of you works more than 48 hours a day. So that's a brief bird's eye view on surgical residency.
Sir, as you told now, I can just imagine how difficult it would be those days, the residency period which you would have gone through. Sir, how did you balance those long hours and stress during your surgical residency with your personal life and well-being?
So I will be very honest that I did not have much of a, there's the time for a personal life. I have a little bit of time is to sleep, but I throughout of my life, I've always done physical exercise. And even in was working in England, you work flat out day and night. I used to go eat at 8 o'clock, sleep at 8:39, get up at 12 midnight, and at 12 midnight or 1 o'clock, a friend of mine, another surgeon, both of us would go to the squash court. We would drive up to the squash court, play squash from 12 to 1, have a shower, come back and sleep. So that intense bursts of physical activity. We were in our late 20s or early 30s. So intense bursts of physical activity at least 3 or 4 times. And also in England, it would be nice and snowy and cold. We used to just run for 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers. Most surgical residents, we used to run. And that is one side, physical. The other thing is to have emotional support. And it's important that you have a spouse that supports you when you're a surgeon. If she's also under major stress on one side, you're under major stress, there'll be a lot of rifts happening at home. I'm very, very thankful that my spouse put my career ahead of hers. And she wanted to do a surgical career, she backed off and did medicine. And she did this sleepy geriatric medicine so that she could just be around for me and support me. And the third thing is, my son was born when I was in the first year of MS. Even you all know a few minutes with a cute and happy kid would completely de-stress you. So I would just thank my wife and son who are with me in England and here. And then, of course, physical exercise. These three things used to really help me go through those tough years.
Nice to hear that, sir. And now, one of the major point where the people have confusion is that which college I should choose, and which DNB or MS, which program I should choose. In these two areas, people have lots of confusion, and especially those who are awaiting for the counseling now, they have in their mind. And what is your suggestions to them, sir?
Very good question. So I'm constantly in touch with the health and family welfare people in Delhi, and with the National Medical Commission people, and with the National Board people. The current trend is that the Diploma National Board is going to be in all ways equal to the MS. So don't go madly running, oh, I'm MS, MS, MS. If you get MS, well and good. If you don't get MS, do it dependently. Ultimately, it's your hands and your hard work that counts. These are just degrees that authorize you to go ahead. Number one. Number two, until this year, if you are going for an assistant professor or professor job, there has to be a little more importance given to the MS over the dependee. But I believe from 25-26, that is also going to be knocked out. That means you are on a level playing field. Probably a very important carry home message. Dependee is equal to MS. Now, if near your home or in your city, there is a center doing excellent work, and you're comfortable with them, then you apply for dependee and try to get there. That is cleverer. Instead of writing the NEET, write the NEET anyway, and going in somewhere and working in a new place where you have no idea about. So if the specialty that you want is available properly in a place in your city, if there is a dependee in that institution, try for that. That is a sensible thing to do. Many people whom I know, for example, cardiac surgeons, they saw Railway Hospital, Chennai. They realized very good cardiac center there. They joined the Railway Hospital. They wrote the dependee, joined, and now they're fantastic cardiac surgeons. So all they did was they focused on what they wanted to become. So my very, very important next line to all of you is, you please walk on the path that you choose to get to your home. If you go on somebody else's path, you will go to his home. So I may want to do urology, you may want to do cardiac surgery. So you choose the best place for cardiac surgery. That is more important than MS or dependee. Are you understanding what I mean? And the people there who are going to guide you and train you to operate, that is most important. Then you can spend 4 or 5 years in the US or UK or Korea or wherever and pick up. But that base is very important in surgery. Our character, surgical character, is defined by your first 3 to 4 years. So think carefully, choose the right place, not necessarily the right degree.
True, sir. That's a fantastic suggestion to the students, and I hope it will be helping them. So, what are the options that are available after completing a general surgery residency? As you know, there are various specializations. So, how a student must decide whether they must decide now itself while joining MS General Surgery, or will it be depending on their interest during the course? And second sub question with regard to that is, which is the best country to go for higher education apart from our own, with regards to the subspecialization or surgical fellowship?
Excellent questions. So first thing I will tell all of you is, during your MS, you get special posting. Orthopedics, neuro. I don't think you get orthopedics anymore, but you get neuro, you get cardiothoracic, you get urology, and surgical GE, SG. Sometimes you may get endocrine surgery. You try to apply yourself, and I want all of you to visualize yourself in 5 years. Okay. You may like to see somebody doing a liver resection or a liver transplant. But a liver transplant means anything between 12 and 20 hours are gone with that one case. So if you do 10 cases, you're part of a unit that's doing 10 cases a month, 10 into 20 is 200 hours are wiped out in the process of that operating, which means you don't attend your kids' graduation or your kids' presentation or your wife's Dasara puja or all your friends' wedding, everything will go down the tubes. But yes, if you really feel passionately that it is still worth it, then you go for it. So similarly, according to your mindset, if you want to work short period, briefly and come, then something like say endocrine surgery, thyroid, parathyroid, sometimes rarely an adrenal, and you can come out. Urology also is very quick. Even a TURP is going to take only an hour and a half maximum, because more than 1.5 hours, you'll get all these the water, no, the TURP syndrome, because of water being put in there. So you have to finish in 90 minutes. So urology, every cystoscopy is going to take 10 minutes. If circumcision, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. So if you want a bunch of small operations, nothing, cataclysmic, but small, steady operations, fairly safe, not many complications, urology is a good field to go in. If you don't mind death, you don't mind complications, you don't mind being woken up, you don't mind the pressures, then you can take up surgical gastroenterology. It's very good. My honest advice to all of you is, unless you want to work on children's hearts, don't take up adult cardiac surgeries going down rapidly, being replaced by interventional cardiology. So those days patients used to get left, right, and center bypasses, all gone now. Rheumatic valves, they used to have surgeries, all gone now, because it's all rheumatic fever is a thing of the past. And thanks to stents, cardiac surgery is being marginalized like crazy. Only thing that's left is pediatric cardiac surgery. That also they're looking at interventional cardiology, but there are a few operations, high mortality, high morbidity, major pressure. The only reason to do it is because you are passionate about saving some child's heart. And if you are, then you are blessed by God. And then you should take up pediatric cardiac surgery and say, okay, I'm going to work on children's hearts. I'm not going to bother about money. I'll work at an institution. I'll get a regular salary and I'll work day and night saving these children's hearts. It's a very noble thing to do. But again, one that is very demanding. But if it is your vocation, if it's your calling from above, then you must take up pediatric heart surgery. Otherwise, if you're thinking, hey, in which one will I get a practice? Where will I settle down? Where is the glamour? Then you don't take up cardiac surgery. The urologists and the SGE people and the endocrine surgical people, the neurosurgeons will leave you far behind. They will leave you far behind.
Thank you, sir. And I'll be taking off from here. So
Sure.
in this current trend, what are the most sought after fellowships or advanced training programs that are available in countries like the US, UK, Australia, etc.?
Right. So the first thing is that the training programs in the US, Australia, New Zealand, Korea, Japan, pretty good, very good. UK also good, perhaps not that good, easier to land in, not that good. I remember a famous surgeon in Stanley who used to do liver surgeries and pancreatic surgeries, who used to make sure that his assistants would not learn the liver surgery that he was doing. Can you imagine? We worked in a time when we had such dreadful surgeons, such a bad attitude. They didn't want other people to learn. So you would do your complete training there and you would come out and you would not learn a specific type of surgery because he felt that you were threatening him. Those days are now gone. That man himself is a spent force now. Now, especially if you go abroad, even here, the teachers are fantastic. But if you go abroad, you have a structured training. You take up, say, urology, for example. People who take up urology, if they go to the US, you can learn robotic urology in 2 years or 3 years. You do a fellowship and you will learn how to handle the robot perfectly and do radical prostatectomy, partial nephrectomy, etc. And then there is no stopping you. I have one of my nephews, Dr. Ananthakrishnan, son of Dr. Sivaraman, who, after finishing his MCH urology, went to the US, trained in robotics, and came back. And very, at an early stage in his life, he became one of India's foremost robotic urologists. Very cleverly guided by a wonderful father, Professor Shivaraman. And even today, Anand is one of the topmost robotic urologists in the country. So that's very clever, focused training. Please understand, do focused training. If gastroenterology excites, the Japanese units are superb. Some of the UK units are superb. South Korea, Seoul, very good for training in liver pancreatic and biliary surgery. There's a lot of GI cancer in Japan. So if you want to learn complex GI surgical innovations, surgical robotics and GI, Japan and South Korea are fantastic places to be in too. Another one of my students, one Professor Rajendran, is now doing amazing. He's one of the foremost robotic hepatopancreaticobiliary surgeons in the whole world. He's based in the UK in the last 5-6 years. So UK is also, there are some very good centers for hepatico-pancreatico-biliary training. Urology, US, way above. If you guys want to take up plastic surgery, the Middle Eastern countries, the Istanbul, the Turkey, Kazakhstan, Poland, they offer fabulous plastic surgical training. One great advantage that you guys have, which we did not have when we trained, is the net. You can just say, where are the plastic surgical courses? Where are the urological courses? You can go and attend. Never, ever struggle to spend on training. Most important lesson I have learned from our Gujarati friends. Every Gujarati surgeon will go and spend time, spend money, stay at a center for 2 months, 3 months, learn a specific surgery and come back. Every summer, they will take off for a month, month and a half, and they'll relax and enjoy themselves. And they'll also learn to operate. They'll specifically say, I learned to operate Whipples from Marcus Gunn at Heidelberg, where I spent 2 months last year. Finished one operation. He'll only see that and come back. Like that, he will have 10 or 15 surgeries that nobody else is doing in that area. Maybe liver resection, choledochal cyst, pancreatic jejunostomy, Whipples, like that. So my request to you boys is, whereas we will spend on a car, we'll spend on wait day and first day for sure, but we won't spend on training. Please, the training is going to define your caliber. So feel free to choose good places. Similarly, I find in places like Australia and New Zealand, the cardiothoracic surgical training is brilliant because they've got very focused units, vascular surgery, cardiovascular surgery, very good CTVS in Australia and New Zealand and also in UK. Why am I saying UK over and over again? Because the United Kingdom is struggling with not enough specialist doctors. So our chaps will get a post there very quickly. You finish your MS or your DependB, either you can take your PLAB or during that time you can take your MRCS Part 1, Part 2. You can whiz into the UK and start working in one of the good units for 3 or 4 years. Surely you'll come back as a very good surgeon. Is the life in UK great? Well, it's not great. Far below the standard of life in India. Very important thing I must tell all of you. I've been around the world. There is no place where you will get the comfort, the sleep, the peace that you will get in India. Okay, the chap who went to the US, he may be earning another $50,000 more per year or another $100,000 more per year. So what? He's going to be struggling with litigation. So worried. All he can do is come and show off his new house or his car to you. But your peace and happiness here, you will not get anywhere. I have traveled around the world. Not even in the Middle East, UK, US, Europe, nowhere will you be so comfortable as you will be in India. I don't mean that you started life in T Nagar, Ranganathan Theru, you have to finish also in Ranganathan Theru. My advice to doctors is choose places. India is such a beautiful country and it's getting so vibrant. The whole India is so, it's rocking, man. Choose good places and go and settle down there and take your work with you. If you went to Ranchi, for example, Jharkhand has got one of, and other places, Chhattisgarh, lowest doctor-patient ratio. I mean, so few doctors, so many patients. You'll be you'll be deluged, flooded from day one. But you want to practice in Sarangapati Theru or in Ranganathan Theru, along with another 20 urologists in the same street, naturally your practice won't be high. So my strong advice to youngsters is choose not only the place for your training, when you come back, choose a good place and go and settle down. We are people who believe Yadu More Yavaram Kelir. Every place is home. Open your mind. Expand. The whole world is yours, as Swami Vivekananda said. So what? if you settle in Delhi instead of Mumbai? So what if you settle in Hyderabad instead of Chennai? Nothing is wrong. You're still going to be in touch with all your friends on WhatsApp. You will probably see your friends more often than if you're staying in Chennai. My classmates who are in Chennai, we don't get to see at all. We have to see them, we have to go for the annual get together when you see the people from US. So if I need to bust a myth, go anywhere, work anywhere. The world is your home.
Excellent answers, sir. Actually, you answered the next question also, which I was preparing. Is it better to do practice in India or live abroad? You answered that too. And we had one more take-home message is that all the students always, while thinking about abroad, they would usually think about US, UK, or Australia maybe. After this answer, we got to know about the courses in Japan, Korea, the Middle East, especially in Istanbul. Everything was new to us. So I'll skip to the next question. Sir, is there a growing trend now towards pursuing dual qualifications like MCH, FRCS? And is it helpful for the career growth in surgery, especially those who are moving abroad, thinking about going to abroad?
Definitely. If you're planning to work in the Middle East, having an FRCS or an AB, American board, will increase your salary significantly by a factor of by extra 20-30% just because you're an FRCS. If you're working in a corporate setup where there are multiple doctors, okay, my 10 fellows with MS, one of you've got MS, MCH, FRCS, FRCS, FRCS. It looks better. But like everything in life, like the politics of the world, like the movies of the world, it's all just perception. You can beat that perception. How? Simply by delivering excellent work. Am I saying don't take MCH FRCS? If you can take it, please take it. But some of the most successful doctors, even now, they don't have MCH, they don't have FRCS. They learn and they do, and what they do properly, and they have the right attitude to patients, and they keep growing, and their practice keeps multiplying, and they become really, really important. One of my juniors, his name is Dr. Ravi Kannan. He did his MCH after his MS. He did his MCH in cancer hospital. Most people, after finishing in cancer hospital, Apollo Cancer, they'll go and join up in Apollo Cancer or one of the private cancer hospitals for money. Ravi Kannan did that for a brief while. Then he went to the northeast and settled down in, I think, in Silchar places, somewhere near in the Assam kind of area, where he set up a Northeast Cancer Center. It's a not-for-profit place, and he's doing amazing work around the clock. And I was happy last year when he got the Padma Shri. And I was saying, this is the kind of people we need. Another friend of mine, senior, Dr. Hemant Raj, who passed out from Cancer Institute, also went to Apollo, worked there for 10-15 years, and after his children and daughter was married, etc., he moved back to Cancer Hospital, and he's now the current director of Cancer Hospital. I just want to leave you guys with an important message that for doctors, we are directly in touch with God because we save lives. So you will realize after some time, these few bucks, people are thinking low of me. I don't want this. I'll go and work Cancer Institute. The minute you say no to that money, you become a god. It is so easy to be a god. I often quote Thiruvalur. He says, Yan Yenadu என்ற செல் கருப்போர் வானோர்க்கு மேல் வைக்கப்படும். If you want to be a god, very easy. You just have to forget I, me, myself. And you say, oh, I can earn some more. I want a bigger car than the other fellow. I want a bigger flat than the other fellow. There is no end to that. Whereas if you say, I want to do something different, like Dr. Hemant Raj did, like Dr. Ravi Kannan did, then sky is the limit. Another junior of mine, Dr. Sudhir, he heads a fantastic hospital in Anantapur, where I used to go and operate monthly cancer cases. Anantapur is in the Hyderabad-Bangalore corridor. You guys must learn about all these people. Life is not just about writing exams, getting medals, and getting an MS and settling down somewhere, doing somebody's piles and making money. That's a very superficial way of looking at life. This man does amazing work in this place in a hospital called RDT, Rural Development Trust Hospital. Sudhir does wonderful work there. All the doctors there, they work for a small steady sum of money. It's a hot area in Rayalaseema. And they are their own bosses. They have like a CM scheme. Only two types of patients. All small surgeries for 3,000. All large surgeries for 7,000. That means gastrectomy, lymph node dissection, esophagectomy, no anti-resection, pancreatic resection, spleen, pimples, whatever you do, 7,000 rupees. Even the CM scheme, an Ayushman Bharat, they give some 40,000, 50,000. But these people, they value it at only 7,000. To me, when I've seen all these, I can see the shades of godliness there. And maybe in the boys who see this, out of a few hundred, 2 chaps or 3 chaps may become divine. Maybe they already have the divine seed. And when they hear about this, they say, well, you know what, I'll choose to be divine. I'll choose to give this up. And I always tell people, remember that we see every day as surgeons what Siddhartha saw, which made him the Buddha. We see a dying man, we see an old man, we see a dead man, we see a child being born, and yet we just walk off like water off a duck's back. If we can take that into ourselves and we can give up like the Buddha did, then we will be creating not just good doctors, not just good surgeons, not just heroes, but gods. We'll be creating demigods. And it is in your hands and in your hearts to become such demigods.
In addition to being informative, am I audible, sir?
Yeah.
In addition to being informative, this session is turning out to be quite philosophical also, and it's great, sir. So moving into surgery, now as a pioneer in laparoscopic surgery, how do you see the future of that minimally invasive surgery shaping up in India and globally?
So I think that minimal invasive surgery has really ruled the roost. Whether you are going to be a urologist, plastic surgeon, GI surgeon, cardiac surgeon, or a vascular surgeon, the theme, what they call is a German word called Zeitgeist. Zeitgeist means the main leitmotif or the main spirit is minimally invasive. You tell people you want to be hit by a truck, you're going to be hit anyway. Are you going to be hit by a truck or a cycle? They'll all choose cycle. That is minimally invasive. You can slice the coconut and drink the water, or you can put a straw and drink the water. Minimally invasive. Nobody wants their parents or themselves to have a big cut. Those days when we were doing our MS, every single surgical theatre day, we used to slash open somebody and do a gastrojejunostomy, GJ, vagotomy. For what? Because he just had some pain which was relieved by food. For that, we used to do a vagotomy and gastrojejunostomy. Many of these patients would not even have an endoscopy to show an ulcer, but we would just do a vagotomy. Nowadays, thanks to ranitidine first and then proton pump inhibitors, that's over. But then gallbladders, whereas in England, every time in 89 onwards, huge slash, and we used to remove the gallbladder. Now, and then the patient used to be like this for 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Huge slash, right subcostal. And now we put lap chole, and the patient is playing tennis within a week or 10 days. Hernias, we used to cut both the groins. Patients will be walking like an old man. Now we do laparoscopic hernias. They're back to playing golf within a week or 10 days. And so on and so forth. For esophagectomies, we used to cut the whole abdomen and then cut the whole chest, mobilize the esophagus. Now we put holes here, mobilize the stomach and esophagus. Holes in the chest, mobilize the rest of the esophagus. Small nick in the neck and pull the whole thing up there, cut it outside and join. It's like about a week ago, we had a lady who used to keep on getting admitted with severe pancreatic necrosis, 4 or 5 attacks, very sick, ICU. Finally, we found out in one of her attacks, we found the calcium to be high. Then we worked backwards, because normally in an attack of pancreatitis, the calcium is sucked out. But if the calcium is high during an attack of pancreatitis, there's only one condition, hyperparathyroidism. Then we did the parathormone and we found it was high. Then we did a scan the technician system EV scan. We picked up one parathyroid hiding, and then we did through her breasts. We made a tunnel, went up, and took out the adenoma of the parathyroid. Came out immediately. The lady became all right. Not even a scar in her neck. Yesterday, young lady is coming from Oman who wanted a thyroid out without a scar. I went through her mouth, through this area, went all the way down and pulled out her thyroid through the mouth. Zero scar. This is what minimal invasive surgery is doing. So we had a pancreatic patient yesterday who come from Bangladesh. Whole pancreatic duct was enlarged. We did a laparoscopic, opened up the entire pancreatic duct, took out all the stones one by one, opened the entire duct, made a Roux-en-Y of jejunum, did a hand-sewn pancreatic jejunostomy. She's walking around this morning. Unimaginable for patients to be walking around normally within 12 hours after a phrase procedure open or an open Partington Rochelle pancreatic jejunostomy. But minimal invasive surgery has made this happen. So to conclude, what I'm doing, so many people are doing in urology. We've also done so many partial nephrectomies or adrenal pheochromocytoma, all laparoscopic, but the patient is running around. 100% I can tell all of you this. The world is not going to go back to open major surgery. The surgery will be major, but the entry point will always be laparoscopic in the future. So never ignore minimally invasive surgery because it is here to stay.
Just speaking about minimally invasive surgery, now we can see many things about robotic surgery. Sir, according to you, do you ever think that surgeons can be replaced by these robots? That's a great question.
See, I have also a lot of interest in artificial intelligence, and I don't think it's possible. I think it's 100% sure that in another 30, 40 years, all surgeons will be mostly replaced by robots. There will be only little bit work for the surgeon, mostly for the robot. If you look at the train drivers, the electric trains nowadays, Vande Bharat, it's all completely computerized. He just has to put the button and hit the brake. That's all. Everything else is programmed. Where it should go, where it should stop, how long it should stop, then it will take off by itself. He has to come in for an emergency. Similarly, in the near future, maybe in 30, 40 years, the robots will be doing everything and the surgeon will be on, off. That's the job of the surgeon. Do on, off, and then do what's called troubleshooting wherever it can't do. But at this point of time, the robot is just a tool that helps the surgeon perform the surgery. At this point, there's no way it's replacing us. Remember, it is not the tool that is held by the fool that matters, but the fool who holds the tool that matters. So you can give the best laser or the best robot or the best instrument to somebody. If you give it to an uneducated, illiterate guy, he's going to just muck around with it. It's the brain, hand, eye coordination of the surgeon that makes the difference to the patient. And the robot is a tool that helps us. In one sentence, if you ask me, sir, what does a robot do? Whatever I have learned, say laparoscopic my hands in 30 years or in 35 years, for another person to be able to stitch equally like that may take another 10 years or 15 years. With the robot, he will learn it in 5 years. In other words, it flattens the learning curve. It makes advanced surgery doable even to a junior surgeon. If you wanted to learn, say, a laparoscopic pancreatico-jejunal anastomosis, the way I do it, it will take you maybe several years. But if you with the robot, it may take you only 6 months or a year. So in training robot surgeons to become very, very quick and nifty and precise, the robot is absolutely a wonderful addition to the armamentarium. That is the greatest importance of a robot in flattening the learning curve. See, some of us are lucky, we have no tremor, nothing. But some surgeons, they keep like this, it'll be like this. See, the robot, if you take the video of me doing the surgery, he's doing the surgery, no difference in robot. Because robot will filter the tremor and take away the tremor. And the robot itself will be functioning at that level. So will function according to the patient's surgeon's hand, and the stitch will be exactly like a person like me without say a tremor. No difference between me and him. So in other words, when you put it to a junior surgeon, an inexperienced surgeon with a tremor, it filters everything and makes them do exactly like a senior surgeon with quicker and softer hands. So that way, robot is fantastic. Right now, it's a huge marketing tool, though. I'll do your surgery robotically. Just another 2 lakhs more, just another. So right now, people ask me this question: can you do something with a robot that you cannot do with your hands? And honestly, for most senior laparoscopic surgeons, the answer is no. I can't do anything with a robot that I cannot do with my hands. It's the same. If I do only thing in open, I'll do it at 1/3 the time of doing it with a robot. It's the only difference. It'll take longer with the robot. But for a junior surgeon, it will make a very big difference.
So how has the job market for surgeons has evolved over the past decade, sir? Now, currently, what are the emerging trends for surgeons?
So I think surgeons must start looking at places where there is a shortage or dearth of surgeons. For example, as our hospital group is also expanding, we are constantly looking for surgeons to place in Hyderabad, Bangalore, Pune, other parts of Chennai, etc. And I'm very, very happy to take up surgeons, train them, and put them in places. One. Two, don't make the mistake of choosing the Middle East for now, unless you just want to settle down. See, supposing you say, I don't want any to learn and advance myself. I want one steady job. I want to make money. I want to send my child to school. I want to be available for my wife. If that is your thinking, then you can choose any lazy part of Oman or Yemen or not Syria, Oman or Yemen or Libya or the UAE or Saudi and quietly settle without major aggressive advancement. So you boys must first decide, do I want to work in a place where I want to cut more, learn more, move forward? Or do I just want to practice what I've learned and stay within that bracket and manage at that level? If your answer is the second, then you must choose one of these places abroad. Also, if your wife is a doctor and both of you are earning, then the Middle East is a good alternative. But make sure that you poor surgeons don't get stuck in some of the Indian-based Middle East, particularly UAE hospital groups, which will just extract your work and not pay you for several months. There are well-known groups, very well-known groups that have come out from either Kerala or northern Karnataka that are sitting and they don't pay you at all. So I'm in touch with 7,000 doctors in my Facebook itself and a few hundred in the UAE. Please let me know into which group you're working and I will guide you as well on that. So think, do you want to work? You asked me career chances abroad. Is it just to settle down and keep quiet and let your roots grow and let your children, then you go to the Middle East Academy. If you want to grow, you want to do, you're a surgeon, you want to do pancreatic surgery, then biliary surgery, hepatic surgery, transplant. You can't do all that growth in the Middle East. The growth is over. But here, you can grow in India much better. You attach yourself to the right bunch of surgeons. And then you take off time, take off 1 month, go somewhere, train, come back. Again, you cut. Go somewhere else, train for 2-3 months, come back. And then cut. And then develop yourself. Work with a good team. India is a fabulous place to be in. I've been again and again, I'm telling you, across the world, to settle, to grow, and grow with peace of mind. India is the best place.
Okay, sir. So apart from surgery and the OTs, how can surgeons diversify their career paths like innovation, healthcare technology, and entrepreneurship?
Very good. So my request is that you boys must do other things professionally and personally. The last few minutes, so I'm going to quickly run you through this. In terms of professionally, try to understand the stock market. I'll give you one secret. LSG, land, stocks, gold. If you invest properly in these three, you don't have to worry about making money as a surgeon. Whatever you get, I know many clever surgeons, they earn maybe X as a surgeon, they earn 5X by stock market and land. Why should you do that? Then you will not have the pressure to operate upon a patient somehow to make money. The jolly that you can do earnings from that side, passion on this side. So go out of the way. If somebody says, I'm not interested in money, excuse my language, it's just bullshit. You have to live somewhere, you have to put petrol, you have to have a car, you have to send your child to school. How can just people say, I'm not interested in money? That's all simply generic statements. Remember, even the Bible says, it doesn't say that money is the root of all evil. It doesn't even say affection for money is the root of all evil. The Bible says excessive love for money is the root of all evil. That is what we don't want to have. If a fellow is selling something, let him sell it properly. If he's doing hoarding and selling, then that's evil. Somebody is selling ganja or selling semi-synthetic drugs and making big money, that is evil. I know unfortunately, some nursing homes, etc., where they were implicated and incriminated for selling fourth wind and all these things, narcotics. I don't want any of our boys to get into any of that. We are doing God's work. We are doing God's work. And if we use our brains and invest cleverly in land, stocks and shares and gold. And here I'll tell you one very bad thing among doctors, we never get together. If 5 of you get together, even with a small sum of money each, it becomes a big corpus. Put that into stock market. Spend one half an hour, 15 minutes a day studying that and watch your money grow. And then within 2 years, you will find that even if you don't operate, that money will be looking after you. So my request to all young surgeons out there, these are mistakes I didn't have. I don't think I'm a big apataka. I'm having this only in the last few years. Have other alternative revenue streams so that it will reduce the pressure on your surgical hands. That way, we will still be doing God's work and doing nothing out of the ordinary. Having said that, there is so much jealousy in our field that people will still say, nobody likes a successful surgeon. They'll say, I'm sure he's doing simply like this. I'm sure he's doing like this. Ignore all these people. Or collect all the stones that they throw at you and build a nice castle with it. So please have alternative revenue streams. That's very important for your entrepreneurship. I also did an MBA in between just to understand the mistakes that I had made earlier in the healthcare scenario. And then I did a course correction and corrected myself. Those of you who can take, you can take on Udemy. There's so many online courses available. Understand the flow of money, what trickle-down economics is, what top-down versus bottom-up economics is, how money is distributed, what inflation is, what you can do with money. Understand that. It's quite fascinating. It's as fascinating as tracking an artery or tracking a nerve. Huh.
Okay, sir. We'll be having our last question of the session. If you can give any advice to a younger self, what it would be, sir?
To my younger self.
To your younger self.
Yeah, I would have said not much. I would have made the same mistakes now. I think it's, you know what I've learned now is life is not about, it sounds like a cliche, but it's really true. It is true. Life is not about the destination. It's about the journey. It's about the friends you make along the way. It's about the good feelings that you develop along the way. It's about the people you help along the way. One of the saddest days of my life, I'll end with this, was one of the hospitals that we developed in a big way in OMR, massive. I put everything I had into it. And I felt so bad that many persons very well known to me, one batch junior, 2 batches junior, living even next door, would send their patients to Chettinad, which is 15, 18 kilometers away for a CT scan, although my hospital was only 1 kilometer away. I used to feel very hurt. I know them from college. I've done nothing bad towards them. but they're just sending to some Chettinad hospital so far away or global and not sending half a kilometer. That patient with a head injury or some head problem had to travel all the way 15 kilometers up, 15 kilometers back to the clinics 1 kilometer away. Then I realized, now I realize I would tell my younger self, if I had advice, அதுதான் உலகம் ஜாலியாக சிரிச்சுட்டு போயிட்டே இருக்கணும். And the other thing I would tell myself, which I learned last 8-10 years of my life, is to allocate 1 hour of extra work for the people who didn't want you to grow. In my life, I came across only one such man. Surgical field from Stanley, I'm a surgeon, a reasonably good surgeon, but horrible man. Anybody who's passed out from Stanley will know who he is. I don't want to stoop down to his level and mention his name. He went out of the way to make sure many of us could not come up. So when I'm very tired, Parthiban, I'm really tired, Vichika. I worked 18 hours and I don't feel like going to the gym or I don't feel like operating or seeing a patient. This fellow's face will come in front of me. I'll get that extra 1 hour. So I want every young surgeon out there. There is a beautiful Sanskrit term for this. Dai, Rabu Tatan Soladinga. Sanskrit, Hindi, Tamil, everything is Indian now. It's a beautiful term called Shatru Labi. உன்னுடைய சத்ரு அல்லது உன்னுடைய எதிரி கிட்ட இருந்து நீ இன்னும் ஸ்ட்ராங்கர் ஆகிக்கும். That I started doing only last 9-10 years, Parthiban. Maybe if I advised my younger self that, I would have said from the age of 15-20 years, if I had done it, I would have worked 1 more hour. And then other 1 hour, no, summa dummunu varum on the 1 hour. You will feel like wet time. You will work hard extra. So let your enemies feed you. Take your strength from those who do not want you to come up. This is one of the famous last words of the great Genghis Khan. He watched his father being torn apart by 2 horses. He worked hard and went back and killed every single person in the tribe that killed his father. திருத்தி அடிச்சு கொண்டோம். நம்ம அது மாதிரி பேட் ஆக்ட்ஸ், அந்த அளவுக்கு பார்பரிக் சேவேஜ் ஆக்ட்ஸ் பண்ணலாம் கூட, we must learn from history how we can take that in and get it into ourselves and become stronger. All you guys, young surgeons watching out there, you are going to come across people like the Stanley fellow I told you, hiding and preventing people from learning operations, etc., pulling you down, not giving you time off, etc., etc. Never mind. Take it as something that will strengthen you. Tell that chap mentally, thank you, I'm going to work 1 more hour today because of you. I'm going to work 1 more hour on the stock market or understanding economics because of you. I'm going to become richer, stronger, harder, faster because of you. And that's my advice, not only to my younger self, all to you youngsters there. You must all, from the bottom of my heart, I want all of you to do very well. You're the next generation. We're not going to last forever. And you guys are going to go through the same trials and tribulations that we went. Remember, be a Shatru Labi. And that's my last advice to you.
Thank you, sir. I think I can take the liberty to say this is one of the best sessions of medicine we have ever had. And thank you so much for that opportunity, sir. I'm saying it from the bottom of my heart. This was the best session that I ever hosted and we ever had, sir. For a guy who didn't even have 1% interest in surgery coming in final year, I think you kindled a spark in me for considering surgery, sir. Thank you so much.
I want to finish by thanking Dr. Raghunandan, who's been so persistent. Thanks, Dr. Raghu and Dr. Parthiban for conducting it. I want to tell you the truth is, I saw the questions and then I decided they were so good that I wanted to take them on par and just say the truth from my heart instead of planning respected gentlemen, respected ladies. I didn't want all that. Again, I would like to finish by saying, anytime you boys want me to teach the youngsters for clinical teaching, MCQ, let me know and I'm with you. Good luck to Medusane. Keep rocking, you youngsters.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It was really a wonderful session I have conducted in medicine, as Parthiban said. And it gives us an immense pride because having such a person in our channel, that too for my invite, I think in spite of your busy schedule, I think it's wonderful that you joined with us today, sir. Thank you so much. And I think this session would have benefited many and many doubts would have been clarified. Thank you so much, sir. And I wish that we get associated too often and we have the privilege to add your talks and add your sessions in our channel frequently, sir. That gives the students, that gives us the benefit of now sharing the knowledge with you with such a senior in our field, sir. Thank you once again. Thank you so much, sir.
All the best. Thank you again. Good luck to both of you. Good luck to everyone out there. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.